The pill is small. It is red, the color of fresh blood and lacquer and the imperial seals that stamp death warrants. It glistens in the candlelight of a chamber where no one speaks above a whisper. The man who holds it is 49 years old. He has conquered 6 kingdoms, unified a continent, built a wall that will outlast every language spoken in his empire. He swallows the pill. He believes it will make him immortal. His name is Jiajing. The world calls him Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. Outside his silk curtain carriage, the summer plains of Hebei stretch flat and endless. Inside, Mercury is already moving through his blood, settling into his brain, his liver, his bones. It has been there for years, delivered in small red pills made from cinnabar, a mineral the color of crushed pomegranate that, when heated, weeps a strange silver liquid the ancients called shui yin, watery silver. Mercury. To understand why the most powerful man on earth would voluntarily drink poison every morning, you must understand what the alchemists saw when they looked at cinnabar. They saw a stone that bled silver. They saw silver that, when heated again, returned to red stone. Death to life, life to death, cycling forever. They saw gold, buried for 1,000 years, emerging untarnished. And they drew the simplest, most seductive conclusion in the history of human hope. If you eat the things that do not decay, you will not decay. The logic was elegant. The logic was fatal. The alchemists were not fools. They were among the most educated men in China, early chemists who could smelt metal, distill liquids, identify minerals by their flame. The man who systematized their art was Ge Hong, a scholar of the Eastern Jin dynasty, 5 centuries after the first emperor. In his masterpiece The Bao Puzi, the master who embraces simplicity, written around 320 CE, Ge Hong recorded formulas for 9 elixirs, each requiring dozens of minerals heated in sealed clay vessels for 36 days at a time. "My fate lies with me," he wrote, "not with heaven." It was a sentence of extraordinary ambition. It was also, for the emperors who believed it, a death sentence. The workshop smells of sulfur and hot metal. A clay furnace, the Lu, burns through the night, its fire regulated to match the cycles of the moon and the turning of the seasons. Inside a sealed bronze vessel called a ding, cinnabar and realgar and lead and white arsenic mingle with oyster shells and alum. The alchemists watch for the moment the mixture turns the color of gold. Then they roll it into pills, dust them with gold leaf, and present them on silk cushions to the most powerful man in the world. He takes them gratefully. He does not know that the warmth spreading through his chest, the sharpened clarity, the visions of light behind his eyelids are not transcendence. They are acute heavy metal poisoning. The first sign is warmth. Mercury dilates the blood vessels and the face flushes, a healthy glow, the court physicians note approvingly. Then comes the tremor, starting in the hands, spreading to the lips and tongue. The emperor's handwriting becomes unsteady, his moods swing violently. He orders executions in the morning and forgets them by afternoon. His teeth loosen, his memory fractures. The alchemists explain, this is the body shedding its mortal flesh, the pain of rebirth. The emperor believes them. What else can he do? To stop taking the pills is to admit that death is coming for him, the same as it comes for a peasant or a dog. Qin Shi Huang died in that carriage in 210 BCE, his body rotting in the July heat. His chancellor Li Si, terrified that news of the death would shatter the empire before the heir could be secured, concealed it for 2 months. He ordered the carriage loaded with salted fish, 120 kilograms of it, to mask the stench. Every morning, officials presented documents to the closed silk curtain and bowed. Every morning, the curtain did not move. The most powerful man on earth traveled across his own empire as a pile of decomposing flesh hidden behind fish, his immortality pills still rolling in their jade box beside him. But if Qin Shi Huang was the first, he was far from the last. What happened next would repeat across 15 centuries with the solemn precision of a ritual, and no amount of evidence could stop it. The Tang dynasty was the golden age of Chinese poetry, painting, and Silk Road splendor. It was also the golden age of elixir poisoning. At least 5 Tang emperors died from immortality pills. The great Taizong, who had mocked Qin Shi Huang's superstition in his youth, spent his final years swallowing an elixir prepared by an Indian alchemist. He died at 51, his body wrecked by mercury and arsenic. His descendant Wuzong was 33 when the pills killed him. His hair gone, his voice gone, his nervous system so devastated he could no longer speak. Emperor Xuanzong, who had initially banned alchemists from the court, succumbed himself in old age. The pattern was always the same. Young emperor scoffs at alchemy, old emperor fears death, emperor summons alchemists, emperor dies. The irony was not lost on everyone. In 1578, the physician Li Shijin completed the Compendium of Materia Medica, a pharmacopoeia of nearly 2,000 substances still consulted today. He wrote plainly about mercury elixirs. The body thrives on water and grains. It cannot sustain heavy substances like gold and minerals in the stomach. How blind it is, in the pursuit of longevity, to lose one's life instead. It was the voice of empirical reason. It was a voice crying in the wilderness. The Jiajing Emperor of the Ming dynasty did not listen. He ruled for 45 years and spent much of it in a palace laboratory, wearing Taoist robes instead of imperial yellow, consuming pills of mercury, lead, and arsenic. According to surviving Ming court records, he also demanded the menstrual blood of young palace women, which he believed contained a pure yin essence for his elixirs. In 1542, a group of these women, driven beyond endurance, crept into his bedchamber and attempted to strangle him with a silk cord. They failed. The cord was tied in a panic and would not tighten. They were executed by slow slicing. Jiajing survived, returned to his pills, and died of chronic mercury and lead poisoning 25 years later. The last to die was the Yongzheng Emperor of the Qing dynasty in 1735. He was a workaholic who slept 4 hours a night and wrote thousands of characters of commentary on state documents each day. In his final years, he secretly installed alchemists in the old summer palace, consuming black lead and sulfur in the belief it would restore his exhausted body. He died suddenly at 56. The court records are circumspect. The cause was almost certainly the pills. From 210 BCE to 1735 CE, across nearly 2,000 years, at least 11 emperors of China died this way. They were not stupid men. They commanded armies, built canals, reformed laws, patronized arts that still take the breath away. But they shared one fatal weakness. They could not accept that the thing they wanted most in the world did not exist. Every tremor, every hallucination, every rush of false vitality confirmed what they desperately needed to believe, that the pills were working, that they were becoming something more than human. No courtier dared tell them otherwise. No alchemist would admit the medicine was poison. The system was perfectly designed to kill the most powerful people in the world, and it did so again and again, with the patience of a slow fire. What is it about absolute power that makes a person so vulnerable to the promise of escape from death? The answer is simple and uncomfortable. The more you have to lose. A farmer expects to die. An emperor has spent his entire life defeating every obstacle, every enemy, every limitation, and mortality is the one wall that will not move. The same will that built an empire cannot accept that it will end in a closed room, in a dark bed, with the lamps going out. And so the emperor reaches for the red pill. The first emperor's tomb has never been fully excavated. Sima Qian, writing around 94 BCE in his Records of the Grand Historian, described a vast underground necropolis where rivers and seas of liquid mercury shimmered beneath a ceiling painted with the constellations. Modern soil samples from the burial mound show mercury concentrations far above natural levels. The old historian's account may be more than legend. The first emperor wanted the universe in his tomb. He wanted to be surrounded, even in death, by the substance he believed would make him divine. It killed him. It preserved his obsession. And 2,000 years later, we still tell his story. The pill is small. It is red. The man swallows it and believes he is swallowing eternity. He is swallowing his death. But the mercury that took his life also kept his name alive. A shimmering, poisonous, unforgettable immortality, won at the cost of everything he had.